Hi, I'm Maggie Weldon, owner of Maggie's Crochet. I'm very proud to say that maggiescrochet.com is the largest all crochet site online with thousands of crochet patterns and hundreds of them are free. I've been crocheting for over 40 years and I've been designing for over 30. So I'm hoping that through these videos I can help you to master the art of crochet. So pick up your hook and your yarn and let's get started. For this video, I'm going to show you how to do a basic double crochet stitch. And that is the main stitch that's used in the shell edge jacket. And the shell edge jacket is one of our top selling patterns of all time. And the pattern number is PA348. And later on, in another video, I'll show you how simple this is to make. It's just a big like square that's folded in half and it's sewn up on the sides, and then it creates the jacket type effect, and then you put the big shell border around it. But in this video I'll just show you how to do double crochet stitch and to work in the front loops or the back loops and about the turning chain. For this video, I thought I'd do something a little bit different and use a variegated yarn. Okay, to do a little, I'm going to show you a little sample of double crochet stitch. I'm going to start with a slip knot, which is, you make a circle, and this end here that goes over the top, you go around the back of the circle, looks like a pretzel here, and you bring the back strand up, and right here is where you have a knot, and you pull that tight, and then you take the other end and slip it onto your hook. And you don't want it real tight, a little bit loose there. And you're going to yarn over from the back. This is just a chain stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, the first thing I want to tell you is, let's say you want 12 double crochets in your sample here. In order to have 12 when you get finished, you're going to have to add an additional 2 for the turning chain. So it's going to be 1 and 2. So I'm actually going to chain 14. Now, I like to, in some directions you're going to see double crochet in 3rd chain from hook, but I would rather double crochet in the 4th chain from hook. I think it leaves more room in your turn. I think it's just a better way to do it. So to do the double crochet, I'm going to yarn over the back to the front of the hook, and then I'm going to hold this here, and I'm going to go into the 4th chain from hook, and here's the 1st chain, the 2nd chain, the 3rd chain, and the 4th chain. So I'm going to go in here and just, there's other videos about the chain and about working in the chain, but for right now I'm just going to go in the top loop of that chain. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to draw that loop out. I'm going to yarn over from the back. I'm going to turn the head of my hook down, and I'm going to go through 2, and I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to go through 2. And then that skip chain there counts as my first double crochet. So I've got chain 3 skipped here, and that's going to be a double, and I've got 1 here. So to do the next double, I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook in the next chain. See, I worked in this one, now I'm going to work in this one. I'm going to go in there, and I've got my pinchers right here next to the hook. I'm going to yarn over from the back across the front. I'm going to draw out a loop. I'm going to yarn over, turn the head of the hook down, pull through 2, go back up for another strand, goes from back over to the front, turn the head of the hook down, draw through the remaining 2. So you do that twice. You're going to yarn over, draw through 2 twice. Okay, yarn over, go down into the next chain, yarn over. I'm turning the head of my hook up to get yarn, and the left hand is helping too. I'm going up, or right hand for the left-handed crocheters, and I'm going to turn the head of the hook down. I'm going to bring that loop out, and I'm giving some height to the loop when I pull it up. I'm going up for yarn. I'm turning the head of the hook down. I'm going to draw through 2. I'm going to go back up, yarn over from the back, head of the hook down, and draw through 2. Okay, now I'm going to do it really slow motion for you. So now I have 4. I have my turning chain, and I have 3 double crochet stitches that I've done. Okay, now I'm going to do it really slow. I'm going to yarn over from the back across the front like that. I'm going to go down into the next chain, and I'm holding, I have this on the back of the hook here, and I'm holding it to have control over this not slipping off. So I'm going to go down in here, into the chain. I'm going to turn the head up. I'm going to yarn over to catch that in there. I'm going to turn the head of the hook down. I'm going to pull that loop out, and I'm going to give it some height. Got to give your loops height, or else you're going to struggle and you're going to have too tight of stitches. Your stitches are going to be too tight. So I'm going to go wrap my yarn from back to front. I'm going to turn the head of my hook down. I'm going to draw through 2, and then I'm going to yarn over from the back to the front. I'm going to turn the head of the hook down so that I can get the head of the hook through those 2 loops that are on the hook. Now I have my starting chain. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to yarn over from the back, and I'm going to go down into the next chain. I'm going to yarn over across the front of the hook, turn the head down. I'm going to draw that loop out and up. And then I'm going to go back up for some more yarn from the back, wraps across to the front. And I'm going to turn the head of the hook down, and I'm going to draw through 2. I'm going to give it some height there. I'm going to go back up for yarn. I'm going to turn the head of the hook down and bring that through the remaining 2. I'm going to yarn over from back to the front, and I'm going to go down into the next chain. You can see the remaining chains. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left, so I'll have 12. Okay, I'm going to yarn over from back to front, and I'm going to go down into the next chain. I'm going to turn the head of my hook up, and I'm not turning my hook, I'm turning my wrist here. I'm going to turn the head of the hook here back to pick up the yarn. I'm going to draw that up. I'm going to yarn over from the back across the front. I'm going to turn the head of the hook down, draw through 2. I'm giving this height. I'm going to go back up and get some yarn, turn the head of the hook down, and draw through 2. Yarn over the back, insert into the chain, turn the head up, turn it down, draw it up, give it some height, yarn over from the back across the front, turn the head of the hook down, draw through 2, go back up for a yarn, draw that through the last 2 loops. Okay, I'm going to speed this up just a little so you can see how it goes. Variegated yarn is a lot of fun to use, especially when you're just learning how to crochet. Especially for kids when they're learning how to do the chain stitch. Variegated yarn is a lot of fun to use. Okay, now this is my last one, and I'm going to go in there and double crochet in the last one. Okay, now that's row 1, and the directions for that would say chain 14, double crochet in 4th chain from hook and in each chain across. That's what that row would say. Double crochet is abbreviated DC. And in British terminology, it's actually a single crochet. But for US, it's DC and it's double crochet. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to turn. When you get to the end here, typically in patterns it says chain 3 turn. And that chain 3 counts as your first double crochet. So that's what it's going to look like. You're still on the right side. This first row here is usually considered your right side unless you're told otherwise. But the tops of the double crochet stitches have these little ovals. They're almost like eye shapes across, and you'll see the top of the chain 3 is the first one, and then there's the second one in yellow, and then 3 green, another greenish blue is number 4. Here's number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so you're still on this side. The pattern says chain 3 turn. So I did the chain 3 here. I've got 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to turn the work like this, like that. So it's just going to go back like this. So now I'm on the wrong side. It looks quite different from the right side. The right side looks just like this. And I'm going to turn it just like this. And the wrong side looks like this. So the right side looks like this. And the wrong side, I'm going to turn it this way, like that. And the wrong side looks like this. So your turning chain, your chain 3 turn, counts as your first double crochet, so you're not going to go into this double crochet right here. And if you look back over on this side, this is the double crochet here. And one other thing I want you to notice is that the little eyes at the top of your double crochet stitches, they're offset just a little bit to the right of the actual post of the double crochet. So if you look, the eye of it is off to the right a little bit. So when you go into it, you're actually not exactly over the post, you're off to the right a little bit of that post. So this is your last double crochet here, so that when you turn, this is the eye right here of that double crochet that you're not going to work into, because this chain 3 right here counts as that first double crochet. So you want to skip this one right here. Unless you're told otherwise. If you're increasing, that's a different story. But you're always, usually you can assume that you're not going to work in this first stitch, or your numbers are going to be off on your rows. Okay, so I'm on the right side, I chain 3, and I turn it like this. So I'm not going to work in this stitch, but I'm going to go under these 2 loops, the eye of the double crochet. And I'm going to insert the hook, and I'm going to yarn over across the front, and I'm going to draw that loop out, and I'm going to give it some height here. And then I'm going to yarn over from the back across the front. I'm going to turn the head of the hook down. I'm going to draw through 2, and I'm going to draw through 2. Okay, I'm going to yarn over from the back to the front, and I'm going to go down into the next chain. And I'm going to take 2 loops, and you assume that it's 2 loops unless they tell you that it's not. So you go under those, you want to go underneath the eye, which is the 2 strands. I'm just calling it an eye because it's kind of eye-shaped when you look at it. So this one is the next one here. And I'm on the wrong side of my work now. And I'm going to double crochet all the way back. Okay, when I get down to the end, I'm going to count here for you. There's 1 for the turning chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I need 1 more to keep it even. And that would be to go into the top of my turning chain, those skip chains at the beginning of row 1. So I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go into the 3rd chain, the top chain, and I'm going to draw a loop out. I'm going to yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. So in the directions in the beginning, it would say chain 14, double crochet in 4th chain from hook, and in parentheses it usually says skipped chain counts as 1st double crochet. So when you come back on row 2, it'll be chain 3 turn, and they won't tell you to skip that 1st double crochet. They assume that you already know that. And it'll say chain 3 turn, double crochet in each double crochet across. And they'll also assume that you know that that skip chain counts as a double. Just the main goal is to have the same number of double crochets and to have them, you know, directly over each other so that your work doesn't go like off to one side and back, so it's more even. So now on this next row, I'm going to show you a little turning trick. On this one, you'll notice here when I did a chain 3 turn, it kind of leaves a hole here. And I did show this in another video, but I'm going to show it in this one too. You could chain 1 instead of chain 3 and do that chain 1 rather loose. And you do this before you turn. You chain 1 and draw up a loop kind of bigger than you're used to pulling up. And then turn your work like this. And now I'm back on the right side of my work, and I'm going to yarn over, and I am going to work in that 1st double crochet. So all I did was chain 1 and I pulled the loop up loose. I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to work a stitch in the 1st double crochet. So it just has a little bit more thickness to it. I might have pulled that loop up a little too much. So let's try that again. So I just chain 1 and rather loosely, and I'm going to yarn over, and I am going to work in the 1st double crochet instead of skipping it with a chain 3. Okay, so now I'm going to double crochet across. So when I come back to work in this, in the last stitch, I've got an eye there to work into. And then this will be real even instead of having that gaping hole down there at the other side. Okay, so that's a good thing to do. Now, in the shell edge jacket pattern that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the rows are worked in the back loops. Okay, before I get to that, I'm going to show you, this is my chain 3 turn from the previous row, from row 2. So I have 1, 2, 3, and that top of that chain 3 is the last double crochet of row 3. Okay, so now I have 3 rows completed, and here, instead of having that chain 3 at the beginning, I've got that special double crochet that I just showed you. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just chain 1 turn and work a double in the first double crochet stitch. But what I want to show you now is how to work in the back loop of the double crochet. This, let me show you this first. This is a part of the shell edge jacket right here. It is the, it's a little bit worn here, but you can see right here, all of these double crochets. Let me get it to the, so you can look at it from the right side. Okay. Down here is my starting chain, but all of these rows were worked in the back loop, and it gives it a nice little texture. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do right now, the back loops of the double crochet. Instead of going in the eye, under the eye of the, with the 2 strands, I'm going to show you how to go just in the back loop. Okay, I've got my piece back here. I chain 1 turn, I chain 1 loosely. I'm going to flip it like this, and I'm going to yarn over, and instead of going underneath the eye, the 2 strands of the eye right there, that's what I normally would do. But in this pattern, it's going to say working in back loops only. Or it could be abbreviated BLO, or it could be abbreviated BL. But I'm going to yarn over, and instead of going under both loops, I'm going to go just in the back loop of the eye. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to draw that out. I'm going to yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. Next one, yarn over. It's the orange one here. I'm going to go just in the back loop, and I'm going to draw a strand out, and I'm going to yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over. Oh, my yarn split there. Yarn over, draw through 2. Back loop. Yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. I'm going to go a little bit faster, just so you can see this ridge. Okay, so I'm down to the last double crochet, and that was the special one I did with just the chain 1. And I do have 2 loops to work into, so I'm just going to go in that back loop there. So here on this side you can see the chain 3 turn, and it left a hole there. You could actually do like a chain 2 turn. Sometimes that doesn't, it's like not high enough, but I still think it's going to leave somewhat of a hole there. I just like the chain 1 turn with the double in the first stitch. So if you look now, you can see that beautiful little ridge that was created by just going in the back loop. So now there's a ridge of loops there. And you want to count, so I'm going to count here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 double crochets. Now, I'm going to chain loosely, chain 1, turn, and now I'm going to show you, sometimes it says FLO, it says working in front loop only, or it just says FL. So, instead of going under both, which is normally what you can assume they want you to do unless they specify otherwise, but for this, we're not going to go, before we went in the back, now we're just going to go in the front. So you just pick up that 1 loop of the front, you yarn over, draw through 2, oops, I drew through, and then yarn over, draw through 2. Just go in that front loop of the eye, right there. See, there's the 2, but you don't want both of those. You just want to go in that front loop. Yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. So there's the 2 loops right there in green, but I'm just going to get the front loop right there. Yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, insert hook in just the front loop. Draw a loop out, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. Just the front loop right there. See that? I'm leaving that back loop. I'm going to draw that loop out, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2, and I'm going to finish this so you can see the other side. It just adds a new dimension to your double crochet stitches. Now this is the last one, and I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Okay, so here I'm back on the wrong side actually of my work, and I've got the 2 rows of working in the different chains back and forth. So there's the ridge from the unused loops of the double crochet stitches. So that's how you do double crochet stitches in the front loop, back loop, and both loops. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have any suggestions or comments, just email